in South America.
Yeah, but I mean the map is
we're a
is
big
black,
square, so it looks different, right? Yeah.
Wow.
So tell us about your upbringing. Tell us about Canada.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about where you grew up and how it felt.
Yeah. I grew up in a small town of 10,000 people where like everybody knows everybody. So like the first question any older person would ask a younger person is who's your daddy? As crazy as that is. And like my dad was from out of town, so no one knew my dad. So basically, like in my case, no one trusted me because no one knew my dad. So everything was based on like that family reputation. That's kind of what happens in like
You didn't have any reputation?
Wow.
Exactly, because my dad was from out of town and he wasn't in town long enough to make a reputation.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I ended up have to say who my mother was and who her father was. So my reputation was more built on my mother's side grandfather rather than actual my paternal line, which is like that wasn't. You're like, oh, can't trust this kid kind of thing, you know? So I never got the like advantages that a lot of people in the small town got. So it was very like.
You had to build your own fame.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were quite isolated then from a young age in terms of like just being like the outsider.
Yeah, definitely. And like without even trying, just based on how the culture worked at the end of the day. And I think that's very like old town, small town Canadian where like it was fresh immigration in a way, still a new country where like when you think about Canada 200 years ago, someone could just show up, kill all your family, take over your home, and no one would know. So you really get to rely on like, who's your dad? Who's this person? So I know I can trust you. So like that culturalization, I think, was still there a little bit.
Wow.
Especially like I grew up in a French town. So it was a lot more like, oh, the English are coming, you know? And so like that,
We
that
always
trust, do. Yeah.
They're coming, they're still coming.
So that trust thing, I think, was a little more sensitive in that way because I grew up kind of in the middle of where the conflict was. So it's like, if you go west from my town, it was the English area. And if you go east of my town, it's the French area. So like I was a border town, basically, you know? And you don't think that like, this was an issue 200 years ago, but that's still somewhat in the culture. You know, it doesn't necessarily just disappear overnight. So you can kind of see that. And it creates that outsider dynamic because I was also like, my dad lived in the States a lot and he grew up mostly English. So I could speak English where the other kids couldn't. So that again created like some sort of separation because who's this kid that knows English, you know, kind of thing. So it was always this different kind of vibration.
Donc tu parles français aussi?
Yeah, bien sûr.
Ah,
Il
d'accord.
faut,
On peut faire un podcast en français.
J'étais surpris quand t'as dit que tu parlais français. Ouais.
Well, that's for another day. We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that for the French viewers.
Yeah. You've learned a lot of languages.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's good that you've been able to commit that time in that space.
I think it's so important to immerse yourself in the culture, you know, when you're there. Like, it sounds silly, but I know so many English people that have been around, you know, lived in Spain, lived all over Europe, and they just hang out with English people and they go to Irish pubs.
Yeah.
You know? And they learn nothing. They don't learn. You know, they don't learn the language. They don't immerse in the culture. They don't eat the food. They still eat English food. They still eat English food where, you know, so you have to, because otherwise you don't get accepted. Like, you're not accepted by the culture, by the people, by the society in that country. Because you can't speak the language. You can't do what for them is like the basic thing of being able to communicate with you.
To relate.
To find some connection, even if you are a foreigner, you know? Like, I still got a lot of shit for being a foreigner because
of course,
I'm British.
that's part of it.
Because you are.
You're
Because I am a foreigner,
right? Yeah.
No matter where you go, you'll be a foreigner.
I'm British. You know, we're not that. You know, people don't really like us that much. Which
You
is
have
fine,
that conqueror vibe.
And you got the Viking look going on too, right?
Pillage and, you know, pillaging villages and
And I don't know if you get a drunk war cry if ever you drink, but they're like, like people are like, oh, Viking, you know, that inner trauma go, exactly.
Skål.
Yeah,
That's what they
skål.
say in
Nice.
Norway and Sweden. Skål.
Yeah.
No, you do. You have to immerse in the cultures. You've traveled a lot, and like you know that when you get there, there's a language barrier.
Yeah,
But
right
then,
away.
you know, what do you do to work through it?
Smile. That's usually smiling's the
works.
best. Yeah, smile and learn to say thank you, you know? And then sometimes, like, whenever I travel, I always find, or she finds me, I always find like that country's mom. You know, like there's always like, I got a Mexican mama, I got a Greek mama, I got a Thai mama, you know.
Your archetype, you know.
Everywhere, yeah, there's a mama that finds me. It's like, oh, let me feed you, you know, kind of thing. So it's like in New Zealand, after about a week here, I found my New Zealand mama, you know. So and I've got, like in all these countries, I've got a mama somewhere that takes care of me, laughs, you know, like we don't understand each other, but through pointing and through like just mutual vibes.
Yeah. Just the energy of that person.
Yeah, or maybe they pity me and they're like, oh, I got to take care of this innocent little person that's lost in my country, you know? I don't know. But either way, it kind of like always manifests that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are we, your uncle and aunt? Mm-hmm. Who are we for you?
Friends. Yeah, you're allies. Yeah, definitely. Allies in this war for acceptance and making the best out of situation, you know, like someone that doesn't get angry at getting their leg fully bitten, you know, that sees the hilarity in things instead of the annoyance in things.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. I think it is. And that is how you have to take life, right? With the smile.
That's the vibe. Yeah.
Then you're going to suffer every day.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're suffering every day, you're sad and you're living.
It's a pleasure of discomfort, right? Like you have to enjoy discomfort.
And it's like having always that vibe where like, oh, it's raining, but it's raining. Like, you know, like you get to choose like whatever response you want to that, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You choose how you feel every day.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes if you're not feeling good, well, that's like an opportunity to really question yourself. Like, you know, when you're doing van life, you can be like, oh, it's so cruddy and annoying to have to reorganize everything all the time. Mm-hmm. Or you can be like, yo, it's so nice we get to reorganize all the time. You know?
We get to turn it into a studio and then you don't have to be a band.
Exactly. Like you can see the versatility that comes with it and the freedom, or you can focus on the amount of time consumption that you have to put. Life is all wasting time doing something somewhere else, you know? Like,
we have time.
Yeah, we do. We do. Yeah. And some people are at work and they feel they're wasting time and they're getting paid for that time, you know? So it's like they have this, there's always finding that sense of production through just like, hey, we all have time to choose what we want to do. It's all what comfort and discomfort you kind of want to go through at the end of the day, right?
How much do you want to suffer? You know?
Yeah.
If you want to suffer at all, but
yes,
you know,
right.
there's always
if you want to suffer,
some suffering, right? But
life is suffering according to the Buddhists, right? Yeah.
Suffering awakens you, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's what helps you grow, growing pains in a way. Yeah.
You know, like last night, you know, like the second night in the van, and it was a pretty rough night's sleep. I was like, and getting bitten, and it was horrible. But I just woke up and I'm like, let's crack on. Let's have a coffee. Let's get up. Let's go. Let's see what the day brings. And you don't complain. You know, I think that's something that people do so often throughout the day is just complain and complain.
Yes.
Even when they have everything.
Even when they have
everything. Like, that's the thing. Sometimes you have everything and you're still in discomfort.
Yes,
you're still suffering, you're still complaining.
There's always suffering, right? It's your attitude towards the suffering that's going to change your experience at the end of the day. So.
Paradise and hell, you know, are in your head.
Yeah. Like I come from a background of life and work where like I've given up a lot for the kind of lifestyle that I have now. And like someone would look at me like, you're crazy, because I went more into discomfort, more into that, because the idea is, and that's part of van life to me as well, was training to find joy in that discomfort, you know? So yes, there's some like, you know, figuring out your sleeping situation is like one of the first discomforts you're going to go through. Like, how do I sleep? You know, like I've got the couch bed in mind.
Yeah.
But then what I figured out is if I sleep in couch mode, it leans too much to one side. So now I put pillows on the edge of one side, so it creates a pocket for me so I don't roll off, you know? And it took 2-3 nights of discomfort to figure that out. But eventually you figure it out. That builds your sense of confidence, your sense of pride. You're a little more comfortable because you build that confidence in adapting and awareness. Mm-hmm. And you learn that self-reliance at the same time, which at the end of the day, it's like you always have control over the level of comfort that you want. And sometimes it's mindset. Like if you're getting bit, well, nothing you can really do about that discomfort. So then you go to the mind. And then that's where you work that discomfort. I think van life is the perfect way to kind of test that. Can
lean
I do
into
something?
the discomfort kind of thing.
Yeah, and to be like, can I do something about this discomfort, or is that part of this lifestyle? And if it is part of this lifestyle, do you accept it, or do you move on from it? And as people who like to grow and want to challenge ourselves, like, hey, we're gonna accept this, and we're gonna find the silver lining in this, right?
Yeah.
And it's also, you wanted it. Right?
Exactly.
You find yourself living in a van. I mean, obviously, there are people who end up in that situation through different circumstances.
We're entitled in a way to choose it. Yeah,
we chose this, and there are people who don't choose it, which is, let's be fair as well.
Yes.
But you do choose it, so take what comes with it. Take what comes with the struggle. Or struggle, or discomfort, and try to. Yeah, so focus on the good side of everything, right? Like, always look on the bright side of life, Monty Python was right.
Yeah.
Always look on the bright side of life.
And I think in one way too, I didn't necessarily choose van life. I just, like, when I first decided...
It chose me.
Yeah, I
was going to say that. He never chooses anything, he just keeps choosing it.
Yeah, exactly. I keep getting chosen by something else.
The chosen one.
Okay, I'll go with it. We're all the chosen
You're
ones.
like Harry,
but
the chosen one.
But essentially, it was like rent prices got so high in Canada. And at this point, I was living out in British Columbia, which is like the hippie of Canada in a way. And then I'm paying rent, working a job. And then I'm seeing all these people that are like living in vans, and I was working just to pay my rent. And I'm like, I could just buy a van and not have to work those kinds of jobs. So at the end of the day, it became, to me, the most efficient way to live became adapting to van life and having a lower requirement of income style of life. So it's like, do I want to suffer the 9 to 5 or go through the 9 to 5 Monday to Friday? Or do I want to adapt my lifestyle to a less expensive lifestyle so that I don't have to do the 9 to 5? So I can choose more what I do with my time. Yeah, it'll take me an hour to cook something instead of 20 minutes now, but I'd prefer spend that time doing there than working 2 hours for someone else doing a job that I don't want, So in that way is how van life chose me, because I saw it as the most efficient use of my time, where I value freedom, right? I think a lot of us do at this point in our lives, especially having seen our parents slave for years and not necessarily finding happiness. So now it's like we have the opportunity to choose, and I worked long enough, saved up enough money to afford a van and to afford to live in the van and then work part-time at different places. Make different amount of money so that I never have that pressure. So it became the less expensive option over rent is kind of what happened. So like it is a curiosity on one side, but on the other side it was like, seems like the most efficient way to survive or to live based on where our economy was at in Canada at that point in time. Well, that's why you're a producer too, right? Is you get to play with the numbers and play with the volumes.
Yeah, that's right.
That's part of it, right? Essentially, is your modifying.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Have you produced before? Done anything like that? Video editing?
No, not like that. No, I've never really done it for work.
Yeah.
I actually did that at uni, and then I was like.
You did video production at uni?
You were saying filmmaking. So I learned everything really, but like I never really wanted to do that. Like I felt like it wasn't like I didn't like the tech stuff.
Yeah. You always find your art.
I was just like, and then I was kind of lost. Like I like music, I like writing. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want to do. I don't like anything that much to like just do that. Just do one thing.
You like variety.
Kind of what we were talking about, good at many things, but like, should I be better at just one thing?
I get that.
So, yeah.
And has there been a theme of something that consistently shows up for you? Like in my case, the astrology, right? Where I let it go and then it magically comes back. Has there been something? Music. Right. And that's
constant.
obvious. Yeah. That keeps showing up in magical ways. Yeah. So what would you want to do with that? Was there like, how can you share that gift with people in a way? What would be the...
By playing.
There you go.
Easy,
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to get more into that.
So open mics, like
that's why I did that open mic the other day.
Yeah.
I've always done it, but like I always played, but it was never like, I don't know. I never saw it as something that I could do really. Like, It's not working out for you, man.
Everything's breaking.
It's the pro singer.
What did you think of Katty's songs that she sang?
Yeah, I just feel all the emotion, like you're saying. Like it's just so. I don't hear lyrics, so I don't know ever really what people say.
I don't know what I said.
I know. I don't hear lyrics. If I start listening to the lyrics, then I'm tuned out of what it feels like.
Yeah, well, that's
because then I'm in the mind. Yeah. So for me, like I didn't like music until an older age when I discovered like electronic dance music, because I was like, then it was all about the music and the sound. You know, so then that worked for me. And for me, as soon as someone says, "Oh, listen to the lyrics," it ruins it for me, because then I miss the music. It's like my brain can't do both at the same time.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's annoying because sometimes people want me to hear the lyrics, but I never hear the lyrics.
Well, lyrics are important, but I feel like the music for me, they come together. Like, because when I write songs, it's like I just sing some words. Sometimes I just sing, but I usually sing some words.
Yeah.
So it's together.
Yeah,
so it's not,
but for me, it's two separate things.
Yeah.
Like it's like I just want my right brain to be activated, and I don't want my left brain to be on when I'm listening to music.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, there are many people, sing songs that they remember, but they don't remember the lyrics.
Yeah,
there's a lot of songs that you can just hum, but you can't really sing. So
yeah, that's like me with every song.
I guess it still works, Yeah.
Yeah. So the emotion. Yeah, I felt the emotion of when you were singing. Yeah. So that's what it was.
Did you cry?
Me. Did I cry? I might have a little bit, but like the watery eyes, not like the not the tear jerking. Like
not
the
good
watery
enough,
eyes. Yeah.
You need to sing more emotionally, baby. You need to really.
You need to make it more
emotional. Stop focusing on the words. Yeah, I'm teasing. Yeah.
No, I think it is interesting. Yeah, the words come out, but the way that I feel Katty's music as well is so much through the melody. Like, so the melodies that she creates is just like, how do you, I don't know, the first thing about creating a melody, well, I learned to play guitar, and it's just like riffs and power chords and solos.
Yeah.
And I was always just not great at like finding that melody,
Right.
like connecting with the melody.
The catchiness, the flow or something.
Yeah, and I think that's what a real music artists, do well is just they have this flow of music that comes out of their body that can be translated in their fingers or, whatever they play or through their voice, and the melody just plays itself.
Yes.
And I've seen musicians that do that, and you do that, and I'm just like, wow.
And if I think about it, like I can't do it. I realized over the years that if I tried to like play and thought about playing, I could not play.
Exactly.
But then I'd be in the flow playing for an entire day.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what I played.
Yes.
But I was playing for an entire day, So I'm like, how am I, suddenly unable to play? And I just can't play, and then I can.
Yeah.
It's just like, it took me a while to put it together,
Because she gets into this like...
it's a trance.
What do you call it? A state? Flow state, right? Like flow state. Because we call it like a flow state where you're just like...
you just tune into the vibe, and you just are in the music,
Is there a situation for you where you get into that trance? Because for me, when I give an astrology reading, that's what happens. I don't know what I just said. It just starts rolling and rolling
You're
and
just
rolling.
a channel, right?
You're just a channel. So is there anything for you that happens that you get it? Because doing music is one of those. Like drumming, I'll drum meditate, and then I'm just gone.
Downloading info.
Yeah. So is there anything
from
for
the source.
you? Yeah.
I think it comes out for me through work and through, the things that I'm building and creating, like with FanCast, with the production company. It was just, and when I started the podcasts, I just lock in. I just feel like I know what I'm doing, and I know what I want. I know what I want to produce, and I know what I want it to look like afterwards. And like the vision of it all is already there.
Yeah.
It's just then the doing it and the sitting and the doing it and taking care of all the details, all the, and then bringing out that creation at the end.
Yeah.
Like I think that's for me is where I get into that flow state, like musically, by creating. I think it's
I think I saw it today. Just while you were setting up, I think you were in that state while we were setting up. I think
he's tuned in. Yeah.
We're in your flow right now. So thank you for that invitation. I saw you like you're not thinking.
No,
you were essentially just flowing into creating this space that we have here, right?
Yeah. Because this is the first time we've done it.
And you could see it right away, and then your body just engaged like, I'm creating this podcast environment right now and I know exactly how I'm doing it, you know? Where if you go back on what you did, you're like, not sure, kind of?
Yeah. Well, I think
before you know exactly what you're doing, but it's more of an organic, I know what I'm doing.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's instinct as well. Instinct, organic, and it's what I envisage before it happens, and then I make it happen based off what I see beforehand, you know? Yeah. So like I see it and then create it in front of myself, you know, as I...
And then it can change in the moment, depending on what the circumstances present you.
Yeah. She's seen me do it before. We did a live podcast with another guy who was in like the UK, and I had my team, you know, in Melbourne, and a guy
man. So much pressure. I was freaking out.
He calls in, and I'm on the, you know, I'm just doing everything and connecting all the pieces, and I was just in that state, you know, and it all came together and all worked perfectly, and she was just going like, how did you do
the
that?
Focus, you know, it's focus, like his focus is there.
I witnessed it here for sure. Yeah, it was cool. Now that I'm looking back, you know, it's like, oh yeah, that was it right there. Yeah,
lock in, you know. I think it's just, I do what I know how to do, you know, and then also, as I said, have that vision.
Yep.
And then work towards it, and then.
And the joy you have in setting it up in a way of getting to that point is like you got to enjoy the process of the work that you do, you know, like a chef or a cook. They enjoy like setting up their cutting station and they make it pretty, you know, like that whole
enjoyment
process.
Is key.
Yeah, where they won't care about the final result as much. It's more like the whole experience of it. I'm talking like a good chef or a good cook or someone who's passionate about it. They like the setup of it just as much as they like the end product, even though...
That's when it tastes good.
Exactly.
If not, it doesn't taste good.
Exactly. Yeah,
if you rush it.
Well, it's funny, for me, before I guess I started this business and started to do that, you know, see the vision and build and everything, I would want so many things to be happening around me. Like I'd be watching 4 football matches and playing Xbox and listening to music and, you know, playing guitar and recording music all at the same time. Like
overstimulating.
I wanted so many things around me because I didn't have that purpose yet, you know? I didn't have what I really wanted to do.
Yes.
So it was a case of like having so many things around you to try to drown out.
That passion kind of. Or is it a courage that you're drowning out? Or what is it that you're actually like, is it a fear of being judged for being that way that you're kind of drowning out? Or what would it?
It's just filling my mind with and space with noise, you know, like essentially like because it's not that I didn't want to have that purpose, but I didn't know what it was.
You didn't have a purpose. You didn't know.
I didn't know what it was, you know?
Yeah. It's like at the beginning, like I started drumming maybe like 4 years ago. And at the beginning, it's like, like you're just drumming all the time. You're just happy to be creating noise. But eventually you learn that the art of drumming is to learn how to include silence, how to include those periods, those spaces, you know? And the key isn't in the drumming. The key is in the spacing, if that makes sense, right? Because
I have a friend that told me like, for creation, it's like 50% creation, 50% stillness, you know? Like to create, you need stillness, you know? For the sound, you need silence. It's like...
I love that metaphor because like the stillness is the masculine tantric principle and the creation is the feminine tantric principle. And you say 50-50. Yeah. So it's like we're saying earlier, everything's the same system, right? It's just always finding the balance between the masculine and feminine, the stillness and the creation. Yeah.
And in stillness you create, because I feel like if you sit there and try to create, you force it. You know? When you sit there doing nothing, it comes to you. You attract.
You need that void space for something to get created.
Yeah.
And that's where like destruction and like letting things die is important, like relationships or situations or jobs. You need to let those things, instead of trying to hold on to everything, you need to make space in that void so that you can then create again.
Yeah.
Right? But
constantly. Empty and, you know.
Yeah.
And fill your cup all the time.
Exactly.
You know, like...
And that's what's nice about van life, I would say, is you get a lot of that space. You have a lot of opportunity for stillness and silence and that void when you do van life, if you let it that way. Because there's so many times where it's like, I don't have to go to work. I don't have to do anything today. And then you do nothing. And then the inspiration, the creativity that can come from that, right?
Yeah.
But there can also be the other side where you're anxious and you're like, oh, I'm living in a van. I need to go do something right now. I need to go, so you really get to see how Like right now I'm working, and then whenever I won't be working, it'll be like, well, what do I do with my time when I'm not working? And then that's where you can get that stillness and that space to create. And are you going to create from your anxieties and your fears, or are you going to create from your inspiration, your courage, and your sense of self?
Yeah.
You know, so that's where like having that peace with yourself and that acceptance and self-love at the end of the day, like being in a van, helps you face that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, those fears and anxieties, I guess they come up to the surface more as well because of that.
Less noise.
There's less noise.
Yeah.
There's less people.
Yeah.
There's you know,
less distraction.
Less distraction. Yeah.
You can create a full life like with work and clubs and activities, and you're still empty. You know, you're still like unfulfilled.
And then you've got your whole like next 3 months planned every weekend. There's no space for your time to actually create or do anything.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like van life is a freedom to allow the artistry to kind of come out, or if there's a bunch of fears, then the fears come out. And then you can choose, be like, oh, the fear is there just as noise, you know? And then that's where like the meditation practice for me has come in, is because meditation is looking at the fear, not reacting to it, not responding to it, right? Like it's still there for sure. But then it's learning to be like, oh no, just wait for that to pass and eventually it'll be a sunny day.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So yeah. What are you guys looking forward to the most engaging into this van life?
Freedom.
Freedom. Well, the freedom for sure.
Freedom, I think.
What do you think?
Yeah, freedom, I think. And creating. We have so many ideas. We're very creative and we have so many projects, and you know, we want to make music and make podcasts and just movies and everything really. It's just the freedom of creating and being us and being in our flow and not having to deal with anyone.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. It's nice that you have each other as kind of that support too, whenever if that anxiety or something comes up, like you can help each other there. You know?
Yeah.
As long as you don't suck each other into like, you need to feel anxious because I feel anxious kind of thing.
Yeah, it happens sometimes
to
too.
To have that trust to be like, no, like if this person's saying it's okay, I'm going to let them, you know? And then sometimes that might be the scariest thing, to let someone give you a sense of safety. But, you know, sometimes we kind of need that.
Yeah. We give it to each other.
Yeah, for sure. And I think us having a goal together and having this drive towards, you know, something to do every day, a goal to strive towards, and us creating a life that we can have our own freedom in. You know, like we've both been slaves to the system for long enough. We've both done exactly how it works, and we can do it.
Yes.
We've been in the system. We've had a house together. We've had houses on our own with other partners. We've done all that. You know, it's like we know what it is. So it's like you either just choose to continue to live like that, or you take a risk and you go, I'm going to bet on myself. You know, I'm going to bet on us. We know our worth in the sense that we know how intelligent we are. We know how productive we can be. Know how strong we are together. Yeah. And it's taking that and betting on ourselves. You know,
like putting that energy in ourselves. To ourselves.
Yes.
We've worked for other people for so long, and it's like, if you don't do it, you'll never do it. You know, it's like
you gotta just jump.
It's this
sometimes.
thing where you just have to take the risk. You know, it is a risk. Like many people are like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'll just do it, and then I'll tell you about it."
Yeah, exactly. Like the expression. The expression is like, you don't learn how to swim by reading about water. You just gotta jump in the water at some point, you know, and then trust yourself.
Yeah. So that's it. Really, it's a decision of doing it, you know, and then you learn.
Yeah, taking risks, you know. I think
we have plans and goals. You know, it's not like we're just in the van doing nothing. Like, you know.
Yes, there's a structure and an intention and stuff that you've practiced before this that you can kind of lean on for that.
Yeah. It's just doing it in a car. That's the difference, you know.
And this year being apart for us was so much growth individually that now is combining those two forces and that growth that we've both made individually coming together and going, okay, now we know what to do. Now we know how to do this.
Yes, what to bring to the table.
Yeah, and what energies to bring to each other, and not to create the same drama that once was. You know, like to move forward. You know, and that's what a lot of couples don't do, right? They don't challenge each other. They don't communicate properly. They can't find that space to be honest with each other.
Yes.
And just hide behind daily things. And fill the gaps.
Can't really hide in van life. Everything's
the point
there.
is to just put it all out there.
It's all out in the open, right?
It's all out. Our life is outside this van right now.
Exactly.
It doesn't get any more together than this one.
Exactly.
And we know it.
Like you're gonna see the dirty laundry.
Absolutely. Yeah, we love it.
We have, and we've worked a lot together. You know, I'd say in the not even 3 years we've been together, but it's been 3 years of, I don't know, I guess in my view and having been in other relationships, more growth and deeper growth and more understanding of each other than any other relationship we've been in. That's why we got married. That's why we chose to be with each other, because it's like we knew. You know, and that overriding feeling, of knowing, that's when, then it's just all honesty then, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's no room for any bullshit, for any hiding, for any, really. It's not that nothing comes up, but like we work on it. Just communicate.
And I was dating this girl at one point as well, and she
give her a shout out. What's her name? Wave it up.
We put a picture. What's her Instagram profile?
No, can't do that.
Shout out.
No.
We love her.
Yeah. But no, nothing wrong with that. But the idea is like, she knew I was a van lifer. She knew that was the lifestyle. But she's the kind of person that would stay at a Hilton, and she wanted to challenge herself. But at the same time, it's like, I could feel that stress, and in a way she was indirectly asking me to take on that stress and reassure her through it. And like, sure, I can do that, but I had my own stresses at that time that I couldn't really take on another person's stress, So it's like, you gotta, like you say, you gotta know and mentally get ready for yourself so that whenever you do show up in that situation, you've got your own kind of plans, your own safety net, rather than relying on someone else to give it to you, right? So it's not, her intentions weren't misplaced in any way, shape, or form, because she wanted to connect, she wanted the adventure, but it's like, get ready for it. Don't date a runner if you're not already running, and say, oh, I can run with the runner.
Just because you want to run.
Just because you want, exactly. Yeah. Like you're not, because then the runner's used to running their 10 kilometers an hour, and then you've never been running before. So then if you go with them, well, one, you're going to change their routine and how they enjoy their running. So it's like, you're saying, but I want to run and I want them to train me. So that's where it's like, that's kind of like the using people kind of mentality, right? Where
for them to give you something you're not giving to yourself.
I want van life, but I want someone to
take care of everything for me.
Take care of everything, give it to me.
Yes.
And then I'll see if I like it.
Exactly.
So
as a single guy traveling in van life, I'll get that.
Yeah.
I'll get people that
women that want to get into.
Yeah, they want to get in my van.
Get
you know
your
what I'm
van.
saying?
You're going to get a lot of women, bro.
Yeah,
Hordes of women.
No, but it's definitely like they see this free-spirited guy that's got it figured out in that way, and it's just like, bring me in on that. But then as soon as you do, then everything comes up, and they're expecting the same kind of lifestyle because someone's living it that they're gonna get living in a house. But no, it's you gotta have that mentality ahead of time, and not have someone, not expect someone to take care of you in that way, but to be ready for yourself,
So for sure.
It's something you get to be aware of. Like, everyone wants the van life because people want that freedom, but not everyone has the full picture of the anxieties and the discomforts that come through. Like, some people need their comfy bed. So for you to come in, have an uncomfy bed, and then laugh at it the next day, like, you were ready for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We were ready to be together in any way. But we had a choice.
Yes.
We had a choice, and we chose to do this because, one, it's challenging, like you said, it's a challenging experience. We're going to learn so much. We're going to have time to create so much.
Yeah.
Which is what it affords you, right?
Yeah.
Van life affords you time.
Yep.
Which is one thing that people don't have. And people need, and they want. They always
it's your
want more
greatest asset, man. Time.
It's the only real asset, really, in one way. Yeah, it's the most valuable thing that you can give someone is your time, right? At the end of the day,
we have it all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's
advantage.
Yeah, it's. I think, as I said, we're only 3 days in, like it's the third day. But it's exciting and it's fun, and we're already seeing you're getting bitten, it's falling the whole
And it's extreme because we spent 10 months apart.
Yeah.
And he was in Melbourne and I was in between Patagonia and the States, just by myself with some family at times, and then by myself, and it was quiet. It was just me, my own thing, my own pace, and for Dave too. So it was so crazy to move from that to this. Together 24/7. And my dad told me are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, I want to try this.
He says, are you sure that that's the right thing to do? Because he's gonna be so extreme, and I'm well, yeah, because there's no other way.
Yeah.
Because if this doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Then nothing works because you know what I mean.
Yes.
If you can't do it all in, then you can't do it.
Yes. Yeah. What's the point?
You're just walking towards your own destruction, knowing that it's not going to work, but you're not going to deal with it yet.
Yeah.
So you have to go all in. So I felt it's not that I wasn't scared or worried or anxious, but I was just kind of,
So how did you manage a long distance relationship for 10 months? What was the consciousness that was brought to that, if any? Because that, I've had long distance relationships as well, and I have my tips and tricks, but I'm curious what you guys actually did to get to this point of managing 10 months apart. Yeah.
I feel just
there needs to be some sort of commitment or safety or reliability there, right?
I feel it was a mutual understanding that we were going to the same place, that we were together, even together.
Right.
Even if it didn't seem like it. And I had many friends asking me what the fuck, you just got married, what's this guy, what's the deal with this if you're apart? And what do you mean? We're together. There was no moment where I felt we weren't together, because he was just doing everything to be together, and I okay, we're apart, and the message is he's in Melbourne by himself. He's going to have to figure out what he wants to do, what he can do, what he feels like he should do. And that's what he did. And I did the same for myself,
So there's a mutual trust that the individual work was going to happen.
Yeah. You focus on yourself and I focus on myself, and then it's going to flow. And then
right.
It's gonna work. And it did, because in the beginning it was obviously really hard and there was a lot of resistance from me. I wouldn't accept the situation. I was freaking out. I was angry. I felt betrayed by, I don't know.
By Dave?
The government?
No, by the government, by the fucking agencies, that processed my visa and told me that I was okay, and then I was fucked, And I lost a lot of money and time in visas, and then I was left with nothing, with just what I was wearing back in my hometown,
Literally what she was
living
wearing.
with my parents.
The suitcase was on the plane.
Literally.
And I had to fly with her suitcase, all her belongings, with me. And so I left her with, I got on the plane with her sister and flew back to Australia with the wrong sister, the wrong girl. I'm what is going on here? What does this mean, And I'm flying back with all her belongings, my belongings, back to Melbourne, and she's just left with the clothes she stood up in.
Wow.
Because there was no time. There was no time. It was we went to check in, the bags got put in, went to check in for the flight, and they wouldn't let her check in. And the flight was, in 1 hour.
Because there was a mix-up with your visa?
No, apparently my visa changed status, and I didn't realize it. Nobody tells you about it. You're supposed to check. Yeah. And I didn't check myself, but I hired a lawyer and an agency that processed my visa in the first place to make sure that visa was okay for me to travel in and out of the country. And they both said that it was okay. So I trusted these people to...
Wow.
And I guess that was kind of irresponsible, maybe childish, to trust, other people in visa situations, because it's, it's your life.
You don't do it directly with the country?
You can, but I didn't, because I have no idea how it worked. And to make it easy for myself, I paid a lot of money to these agencies to do that for me. I checked with a lawyer too, because I was these agencies just want to take your money, So I also did a consultation with a lawyer. And she said it was okay. It was this big company and everything.
Is it a working holiday visa?
It was a student visa. And I was on a bridging visa because my student visa got refused.
Gotcha.
It got into a mess, And honestly, with everyone that we could blame, the blame is still on us.
Always.
You know, like,
yeah,
it
that's
still
what
is.
I mean. Yeah.
And that took a while for us to get there as well, and to really just analyze it and go, look, we messed up. You know, we fucked up.
We fucked up. Yeah,
it's
But
like,
it gave you an opportunity. Is that like, you know, as much as that something doesn't happen, it always doesn't happen for a reason.
Exactly.
Right? Like there's a better. The challenge inspires the growth and the awareness, which creates more beauty in the world.
Yeah,
right. At the end of the day, so it's like
it's funny. On the 6th of January last year, so we were with her brother in Córdoba in Argentina, with the brother and his wife, and we wrote it's a typical thing they do in Argentina, your 7 deseos, which is your 7 wishes, right, for the year. And we all 4 of us had a ceremony and wrote 7 wishes, you know, and we still have them. We're going to burn them on the 6th and do them again. We have them still. And it's funny looking back at those wishes, what we wished for and what we got, because it was exactly what we wished for.
Yeah.
Just not in the way that we wanted it to be.
Manifestation is tricky.
It was separate, man. We got everything we wanted, but it wasn't together.
Yes.
We really did, you know? And it was like, wow, like how powerful that we wrote those things down, and, you know, 2 weeks later we were separated. You know, and you look at those wishes, and it was like, sort out Kathy's visa, live in the forest. We wanted to live in the forest. You know, like we wrote these things down about what to do by the end of the year. And we had to sort her visa out because life made us sort it out, you know. We did end up living in the forest. Before the end of the year.
Yeah.
All of these things, it wasn't the way we thought it was going to happen, but it was the way that life gave it to us. You know?
Yes.
So a message there, as you said, be careful with how you manifest, right?
Make sure it's really aligned, because, you know.
And like this happened to me too here, and it keeps happening to me where I keep getting what I wish for, and then it's like, oh, do I need more refinement, or is it a misalignment? You know, that you know, that's like such a subtle difference of like, okay, am I manifesting, or am I asking for things that aren't meant for me? So that's why I'm getting them in this way, or, you know, or is it, do I need to be more specific on what I want?
Or more ambitious, or like,
more
ambitious. Is this it? Do I just take it? Do I accept it? Do I need to?
Interesting.
You know, like, it's tricky. Because that being grateful, if you're just grateful for everything, that's great. But you also need some ambition, right? You need to like...
set a target above what you're capable of doing. Kind of thing.
It's not just about, oh, that's great. This is what I'm getting. Like, you know, thank you, God. Like, you know.
Because we have, as I said, that's an example of the superpower that I feel that we have when we're together, that potent sort of manifestation. And when I said it to her the other day, I was like, we've got to be careful, because when we say we want something, and we do, and we work towards it, it happens. You know, we say we wanted the van life. We say we wanted to do a podcast in the back of a van, start our own vlog. You know,
it happened like that,
and it just happened because we were both, you know, fixed on that idea that we were going to make it happen, and also that we wanted it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, be careful what you're wanting, and then what you're working towards.
Yes.
Does that really align?
Yes.
Is there alignment?
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Is there alignment? It's like me wanting the video production company. You know, I launched FanCast, and I was dead set. She'll tell you, like, I had to do it for myself. You know, it wasn't for anyone else but myself. And I was driven to do that, and I lost my wife and had to then do it. Your life was like, well, fucking do it then.
Yeah. You're getting the opportunity.
Yeah.
Like,
no distractions.
Prove it, you know? So I did.
Yeah. And you got it.
And I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
Just not the way I thought it was going to happen, you know? So.
And it's like, there's always a cost somewhere.
Yeah.
Anything you wish for. So in your case, it was like time with your wife, you know? The other one that I find is always fun and tricky, and this like just hit me a couple weeks ago. It's like, what do I want? And what hits me is I want a closer connection with God, or with Source, or Universe, or whatever. I want to So what's going to happen when you wish for something like that? They're going to take everything away from you. You know what I mean? So like when you wish for something like grandiose, so like you say, I want $10 million. Well, then like, you might win the lottery, but then everyone's going to come at you or something, or you won illegally, so then you're going to go to lawsuit. You know, like there's always going to be a cost to whatever you manifest to bring to the table. So that's where like, I don't want to be too ambitious, because I don't know if I'm willing for the cost of it. Right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's interesting. Yeah.
So you're tiptoeing around it, because you're like,
I don't know if I want to, I don't know what I want strongly enough that I'm willing to pay whatever cost. You know, but I think recently, like I said, that connection, that deeper connection with source or with whatever's out there, I think I'm willing to give everything up for that.
Wow.
But it's an emotional state. It's not something that you need to get to achieve, you know. It's like really tuning. I mean, manifestation is also tuning into the feeling of what you want.
Right.
Because you're like, okay, I want $1 million.
Yeah.
But why? What for? You're like, to live on an island. Okay, so then you just want to live at the beach. What for?
Yeah.
Okay, to feel free. Okay, what is feeling free for you? You know, it's like the layers and what do you really want behind all these layers is probably just to feel loved or whatever, you know. It's just very simple.
Everything goes down to feeling loved. Yes.
To getting mommy's or papa's love, you know, like childhood
trauma.
Yeah.
You know, as you say, it always goes back to childhood trauma, right?
Why do we even want anything? You know?
Why do we even want it? You know, like, you know, why don't you like his feet? You know?
Yeah.
Why don't you like his feet?
Because childhood trauma, something happened. Again, it's like it all goes back to that, right? There's something within you is pulling you towards that.
Yes.
Right? Because you want that. Because maybe you were lacking something in your childhood with that. You had a lacking of that, so you're looking for it now to fill that gap. You know, fill that void. That was there, and it comes from. You know.
Yeah. And what's interesting about I do the astrology, and what's interesting about astrology is there's key ages of things that happen. So have you heard of like the Saturn return, or have you heard?
I heard about
that. Yeah,
when you're 27, right?
Or have you heard of the 27 Club?
I heard of that. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. We had Jimi Hendrix and Jimmy Page and
Kurt Cobain.
It's the same year as your Saturn return. You know,
Life crisis.
Because what happens at 27 is your first karmic alignment with your purpose here.
So it's Jim Morrison, not Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page is still alive. Sorry, Jimmy Page.
Don't kill the
Jim
guy.
Morrison.
Yeah. So the idea is you get these points in life. So whenever I do a reading with someone, you go back like what happened at 7 years old, what happened at 14. And I work with most people that I work with are in their Saturn return because that's the kind of astrology that I attract through what I am and what I do. And the idea is there's clues in these patterns that happen in your life. So the idea is like at 27, if you're so far off of like your karmic alignment, well, then you want to kill yourself because you're like, wow, I have to literally stop everything and start over. And sometimes that's just way too overwhelming for people. So boom, you know, you get out, you're so deep, or you don't see the hope in fixing it. You don't have the support in fixing it. You don't have the courage to take control of your life. Like there's
the
many
tools,
aspects.
the awareness, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So so in my case, and a lot of people, like a depression will hit at 27, or you'll get married at 20 and get divorced at 30 because you realize that you're following your conditioning's path rather than following your own karmic path.
I started uni at 27. I think
because you needed to go there to realign you with coming into this field. What did you do before? I'm so curious.
I was an English teacher. I was an English teacher all around Europe. So I taught English everywhere, and you know that was my mainstay, and it was easy. Go anywhere, work anywhere, travel anywhere, be where you want. There's always a teaching job there for you. You know, when you're British and you're qualified, then anywhere you want, really. You know.
Yeah.
So it was easy, but there was a drive within me to do more and find more purpose and to achieve, you know, my own to explore my own limits, you know, if there are any, you know.
Yeah,
you know, I don't feel like there are, you know. Sometimes I'm like, I can do anything, you know, which is the right way to be, right? But I had to make that first step, and you have to actually work for it.
Yeah,
gotta work for it.
That's karma. At the end of the day, you have to work, and that's your karma is your work in this lifetime. Yeah. At the end of the day, and you don't want to do it, you know. Like I tell you guys, like I don't want to do the astrology, but like it's there, you know. And it's like, all right, I'll do it.
Astrology's doing you.
I was about to plug your business there, but so soul alignment astrology. Tell us about it.
No, at the end of the day, it's finding like you did for yourself. It's figuring out. Well, I seem to have done everything right. I followed the path of what my parents told me to do, of what felt right to do. I got myself a sense of safety because parents are there to teach you safety, to teach you to take care of yourself in this world. But that might be what's aligned for your soul. You know, you might be in a reincarnation, or you might be in a lifetime where you're here to take risks. you're here to swing and miss a bunch of times until you figure something out. You know, maybe you're here to sell courage. Maybe you're here to sell inspiration. Maybe you're here to, like, what do they say again? It's like, what's the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire? Well, there's two ones. The easy plug for me is a billionaire uses astrology. A millionaire uses luck. But yeah, anyways, no.
That's really interesting.
But the billionaire has failed more times than the millionaire.
That's right.
Right? So the idea is like you don't learn through your successes. You learn from your failures.
Exactly.
If you're successful right away, then it's kind of luck. Like for me, I was lucky.
And it probably won't last long.
Exactly. Yeah. And when it crashes, you don't know how to get back.
Yeah, you don't know.
Because you didn't learn that failure part. So the idea is, like, to me, how like a raising needs to happen of a child is let them fail, let them mess up, and then you teach them to get back up, to have hope again, right? So anyway, so the whole point of the soul-aligned astrology thing is, yeah, you're successful, great, but you still don't feel fulfilled? What's up? And then you don't know where to look. And then therapy is one of them. But the idea about therapy is therapy asks more as a mirror on how like vulnerable you are with yourself and what kind of questions you're willing to answer. Like your brain can get in the way in therapy, if that makes sense. When you do an astrology reading, it's kind of like getting a blood test with a doctor, where you can't hide low blood sugar.
Don't lie, man.
You know? Yeah. So in astrology, it's kind of like your energetic report. So the idea of what I do is I'm reading your energetic signature, because when you're born, the reason you need the time and the location is so that you can see exactly what the energy signature was when you were born. What was the type of energy that was there at that time? And astrology is a way to read that on a chart.
Yeah.
So in other words, like when some clients come to me and they want to share a lot of information, and some clients come and they're like, yo, I don't want to share anything with you. I just want to see what there's to get, you know? And it doesn't make a difference to me because I'm just reading the chart at the end of the day. The ones that do share, we can go deeper quicker. But the ones that don't, I'm just talking for an hour and a half. And at the end, they're like, oh, cool. Like that worked, you know? Yeah. So the idea is like, do you want someone to read something, or do you want to work with someone to get a little deeper? So, and I leave that up to the person. It all depends. And some people, like myself, was skeptical going into it. Like my first reading, I wasn't looking for it. I had quit the engineering world, and I got a job on a boat as a tour guide because I liked being a tour guide. And it was a summer job. And then one day the owner of the boat comes up to me and he's like, are you a Leo? I'm like, no. What do you mean? Like your astrology sign, like, is it Leo? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, are you a Pisces? I say, no. And he's like, oh, I think I have someone that wants to meet you. I'm like, okay. And then he comes back a week later and he says, yeah, my friend wants to meet you. I'm like, all right. And he's like, he's an astrologer and he wants to read your chart to you. I'm like, okay. At this point, I had quit engineering. I was doing the yes man theory of like, I'll just say yes to everything. Let's see what happens.
Say yes to work on the boat. Say yes to do that.
So I was
say
just
perhaps to drugs.
I was no, not yet.
Perhaps.
But I was in that pure curiosity mode of what happens if I stop letting my brain make decisions and I let whatever shows up make decisions.
Yeah.
So I went for the reading with this guy, and he said some key things like, oh, your parents got divorced at 4 years old. You probably worked in the electrical field. I would guess electrical engineering. And I'm like, oh, all right. That's pretty specific stuff that you're guessing. And then at the end of the reading, he's like, yo, and you could be a professional astrologer. And like, oh, there's the rope. Like, that's where he's trying to hook me. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I'm not willing to pay for this. Like, no, thank you. You know? And then he's like, no, I'll teach you for free. So then so I started a 2-year apprenticeship with him at that point, where for 2 years we meet every Sunday, every second Sunday, and we just talk astrology for like 6 to 8 hours for 2 years.
Wow.
He just offered you that because he felt like that was...
He was looking for an apprentice.
He wanted to teach because through teaching you reteach yourself, you know?
And he wanted to pass on the knowledge. He wanted to pass on what he knew to someone that was able to absorb it.
Yeah.
You know, and like when I look at a chart, like as much as I want to believe no one has limits, we all kind of do in a certain way. Like I have a certain level of empathy that I'm capable of. You know, if someone's a Pisces or a Cancer, they can do way better on empathy than I can. You know, so astrology is kind of like that characteristics that shows where are your tendencies, where are your strengths, where are your weaknesses. And it's not to get caught up over like, oh, I can never be as empathetic. I'm going to really work on my empathy. It's like, yes, to make sure that I am being empathetic, but at the same time, I'm never going to be better than a Cancer at showing empathy. You know, like to me, someone's like comes to me and hurt their leg. I'm like, put a Band-Aid on it. You're fine. Get up. Let's go. But a Cancer's like, oh, sit down. It's okay. Let's just stay here for the next hour or two and we'll get better. Like I learned that skill now, but that's not my strong suit. Yeah. You know, so the idea is to be conscious. So for him, he saw my chart and like, yo, this person can absorb what I'm teaching. So that's why he took me on. He was also looking for connection and friendship, and I'm a friendly person, I think.
Are you though?
Huh?
Are you?
Sometimes. According to my chart, no. But I have free will. I can get to choose to be, right?
You are very much so. Very friendly person.
Yeah, and open. Sure. Yeah. 100%, yeah. So at the end of the day, that's why I said, like, I didn't want to learn astrology. But the universe showed up and it's like, yo, we're teaching you this. You're going to learn this. This is going to be one of your skills, one of your tools. And yeah, now I do it, and I've gone on sessions years where I don't do it, and then something brings me back in. So the second time that I quit it, my father and my stepdad had died about 6 months apart. So my stepdad, his name was Dwight, and he was a First Nations guy or like an Aboriginal from Canada, and his name in his tribe was Sleeping Dog by Running River. Okay. And then my dad passed away 6 months later, and my dad's name was Mike. A week after my dad passed away, I went to an ecstatic dance, and this girl comes up to me, talks to me, and she finds out that I do astrology or I dabble. And she's like, oh, I think I have someone you'd like to meet.
Yeah. This keeps happening to you, man.
That's what I'm saying.
People introduce you to other people.
Yeah, well, that's the universe's way of aligning people, right? At the end of the day. And then I say, okay, who's this person? She's like, his name is Mike Sleeping Dog.
Get out of town.
What? You can't make that up.
You were like, right? Sorry, excuse me?
Yeah.
You must have been like, this is a joke, right?
No, right away. Because at this point, a lot of synchronicities had already been happening in my life. So I'm like, oh, here we go again, you know?
And then, taking it in.
And then this guy, he was a Vedic astrologer, so Indian astrology. And I could feel that my transition was going towards the Indian systems. And I meet up with Mike, and he's starting a class in 1 week. And his class was like really cheap for what he was offering. And it was a sliding scale. And again, I'm not willing to invest, but he was selling a pretty good deal. And so I ended up signing up for it. And there was 3 of us in the first class. And it was every 2 Sundays for 4 to 6 hours.
So it was again. And you were back
and the other 2 people dropped out. So it was just me and Mike Sleeping Dog for 8 months teaching astrology.
Wow.
He was teaching me, so it was just me and him.
Life's just not letting you let go of it, man.
It's really forced onto you.
And like traditional astrology is supposed to be done that way. You're not supposed to do a 2-week course and become an astrologer. It's a master and apprentice, and it's spending that intimate time together. Just discussing astrology, being like, oh, what's the vibe you feel right now? It's like, well, this is a very Gemini environment right now. You know, it's chatty, it's curious, it's lighthearted.
We're both Gemini, giggles. By the way.
See? Everything's there. Well, it's always, and twins, right? There's always 2. So you found your Gemini twins in each other, you know?
We did. And I'm on the cusp. I'm Cancer and I'm Cancer Gemini.
And you like taking care of people.
Yeah.
You like listening to people, nurturing people emotionally, right? Giving them a voice. So, you know, because you're more on one side of the Gemini, whereas if you're more on the Taurus side, you're going to be more like, here's some food, nourishing physically, you know, kind of thing. But because you're more on the Cancer side, it's the nourish emotionally part. So letting people express, you know, giving people a space where they can just feel. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So cusps are a thing. But see, like,
maybe rare to meet two people, two Geminis that are married and all these synchronicities. I don't know if that is a rare thing. I don't know.
Typically it's rarer to get two mutable signs together because mutable signs are all about like service to spirit and adapting to their circumstance. So typically you'll get a mutable person with a cardinal person.
Yeah.
So like the Libra Gemini is probably the more common air combination because the Libra is like, let's do that, let's do that, let's do this. And then the Gemini is like, okay. You know? So to have two Geminis, so again, these are just your sun signs. They're the moons that come into play, and the moons are more important when it comes to emotional compatibility. The sun signs are important when it comes to ego projects. So for you to have an ego project to create a talk show is like the most Gemini thing ever.
Doesn't get more Gemini than this.
It doesn't. That's what I mean. It's just open conversation. Like explore that topic. Let's explore that topic. And Geminis have a need for variety. They're probably the highest need for variety of all the signs. Right?
100%.
And like you're saying for your craft, like I don't know exactly what I want to offer, but like let's explore. Let's be curious about all these different things. Right? So it's like, another way, I worked for a shamanic astrology school. I worked for them for a little bit. And the way that they describe Gemini or mutable signs is in service to spirit. So mutable signs are in service to spirit. So they adapt because they want to bring a service mentality to the world. They want to say, how do we keep love going? Right? How do we keep connection going? And in the case of Gemini, Gemini is the engine of the zodiac. They're the ones that, if everything's quiet in a room, Gemini will like say something to get the group going again.
Very much like that.
And that's a good thing, but that leads to a very neutral stance where you'll say something just to stimulate the energy. Sometimes that'll piss everyone off, but sometimes that can make people. So Gemini gets that bad rap because they're going to keep triggering or throwing wood or oil into the fire to keep your fire burning.
I would do that. I used to do that a lot. Be in social situations where it would make me angry when I'd see someone who didn't have a spark, that wasn't like talking or doing anything. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'd get angry, and then it took me a while to realize that was from within. That was me, It was my anxiety that I was just putting on other people of like trying to get them to be more lively. Like, why? Like, they don't need to be.
Exactly.
If it's just me that's like that, then it's just me.
Like the balance Gemini is knowing when to speak, right, and what to say, really, because
you are here to share at the end of the day. As a Gemini, you're here to keep the conversation going. If the world gets into a place of stagnation, like you're here to get the engines going. Another famous Gemini is Donald Trump.
Wow.
Does he keep the engine going or what?
Well, he doesn't shut up.
He does.
He doesn't shut up.
But he got the ball rolling on things, right? So and it's some do it in bad or tougher ways, but sometimes we need that. We need this. If we're not acting on love and peace, then the other side that's going to get things moving is anger and fear.
Yep.
And he plays that card really well. Right?
Start ruining our sign, man.
Right?
Don't ruin our sign to compare us to that.
It's an energy. It's an energy.
That's
all it is. And you're not defined by that energy, but it's kind of the karmic role that you've come here to play in a way.
That's right.
It's not that you're stuck doing that, because the opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius, which is sharing truth. So how a Gemini balances themselves out is by checking what they're saying. By saying, is this coming from a place of truth, or is this coming from my wanting to just keep the fire burning? So it's just finding that balance.
I think that's definitely been something within me that's evolved over the last few years, is that sense of the truth behind
what you're
my
saying.
Actions and my words. Like what is it? It's my truth at the end of the day. Like, it is my truth, So it does come from a place of experience and knowledge and knowing, and I will fight for that, and I will fight for the truth, and like whether you like it or not, like that, I believe it is the truth. Yeah, and it might be a bit hard for people to hear. Yeah, sometimes it is, and they don't like to have the conversations. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the truth is only going to set you free, and it's going to help you grow, And
it can be subjective.
For sure.
Like that's what my hard lesson was like 4 years ago, that everyone's got a truth. You know, there's always 3 stories in between 2 people. There's your version, my version, and the truth. Right? It's never like my truth or your truth. It's the truth.
We all live in our own truth, right?
Exactly. And are you able to communicate that to reach a sense of union?
Yep.
Are you able to have the words and the language to communicate in a way that, like, I'm a huge proponent of nonviolent communication, right? And finding ways to communicate that aren't triggering for people in just sharing your own truth.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge, like, you guys were talking about language earlier, right? And how, like, we're talking about language barriers in between cultures, right? How, like, one culture is very direct in how they talk. In other cultures, you know, it's all about using the nice buzzwords to make people feel good instead of being direct.
Yeah, it's really funny. We met a couple of Dutch people, and they're very, you know, straightforward, and it's almost like, whoa, like, you know.
Yeah, people from
met many
Israel,
of them before, like,
Dutch, Germans. They have a very direct way of speaking, and it translates into their English, right? At the end of the day.
That's right. Yeah, British people we use a lot of indirect questions.
Yeah.
You know, would you mind passing me the salt?
Yeah.
And I'm asking you, would you mind doing it for me? Like, I'm not asking you to do it. I'm asking you if it's okay, if you don't mind doing it.
Yeah.
You can say, no, I don't mind.
Yeah.
You know? But then you have to, I'm not going to give it to you, right?
Yeah.
But, so there are indirect ways that in British English that we speak very, it's politeness. It comes from a place of, like, you know, feeling. It's non-violent,
Non-violent communication, one of the big things is don't always start with, would you be willing to?
Yeah.
You know, just always, every request is ask, would you be willing to? Not, can you pass the salt? Or pass me the salt.
And
would you be willing to pass me the salt?
Would you be willing to?
And it's funny you say that, because we spoke about this in Spanish, because we were at the house and I used the word podrías, you know, could you, right? Translated to could you, podrías, could you, right? But
you would never ask that.
They don't use it in Spanish.
No, but he asked me, he's like, you know, you guys don't really say that. And I'm like, well, no, you can say it. It's proper Spanish, but we just say, dame.
Dame or
me das, like, do you give me, almost, if that's, you know, if that word, the translation would be that.
Yeah.
Like, it's very direct, even in their native language. They don't know or use the indirect questions.
Correct.
In their native language, so they wouldn't know that if they're translating in their head and, you know, speaking English as a second language, then they're going to say, pass me the salt.
Yeah, it's going to be more, but they don't see it as violent communication in any way.
No, because it's the way your brain is structured.
Exactly.
You know, I remember when I studied, like, semantics in uni, I was blown away by this concept, you know, of, like, your brain can only conceive what your language can, can speak.
Yeah,
really.
your base language.
Yeah, so your language,
culture.
Forms your brain structure, your thought structure. You cannot think outside of what you can say.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy. Like, you know, this is why culture is so important. This is why language is so important. And the more languages you speak, the smarter you are, really. Like,
potentially, if you're able to interpret the nuances of language.
Yeah.
And I speak 4. So
that's what I'm really curious.
I'm super
about.
intelligent.
He likes to fall asleep.
It is.
I think Europeans are the smartest in the world, right? Because they speak the most languages fluently.
Yeah, it's a thing for sure. Yeah.
I think it comes down to my desire to learn languages was because I just loved communicating. You know, I loved being able to communicate.
Gemini is the sign of communication.
Yeah,
literally. Like, if you translate the sign of communication, it would be Gemini. So very appropriate.
Yeah. And that was my drive behind it. The challenge as well, and being able to speak like them. Speak like the natives, you know, like I really put an effort into the accent and to the listening and how are they saying it, and, you know, almost like copy paste a bit, you know. You just listen and you copy and paste it and you say it, you know, and you just reproduce everything that you hear. And that was my, like, desire and drive behind it, was to prove that I can also do what you're doing. You know?
Gemini is also the shapeshifter.
Yeah.
So it's like Gemini wants to adapt to whatever vision you want to see. So when you've got 2 Geminis together, it's like you want to adapt to each other's vision of what you want to see in the other.
Yeah.
So it can create a very fun dynamic, right?
Yeah,
like there's that willingness to please, that willingness to be of service, right? Like there's an ego there. But that's not an unhealthy ego. right? It just is fun. If you get consumed by, exactly.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So could you do a reading for us then as a couple? Could you
definitely.
How long does it take long? Could you do a 5-minute one?
Definitely.
Is it called Synastry?
Yeah, Synastry. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can pull that out.
And then it'll be your turn.
We'll do the tarot.
And then it'll be your turn.
Let's have some fun here.
That's
what it's about. So I use a website called Astroseek because everyone can use that. That's the one I find that has the clearest information. And it gives you just this good enough information. But something to keep in mind, like whenever you're doing online astrology, you're only getting, it's like when you're putting a recipe together. Like, oh, you see salt, you see sugar, you see garlic. You know what each of those flavors are individually. But you need someone that knows what the end flavor is of all of it combined. So when you're using astrology, take what's written there as a grain of salt. Because if you're a Gemini with a Capricorn moon as an example, well, you're not just fun and playful. You're also very serious and take your responsibilities. So, like one kind of eliminates the other. So you really want like an astrologer, someone that can look at the whole picture of something to give you a proper interpretation. Otherwise, everything else is off. So we got a nice polarity here going on. We've got a day chart and a night chart, a feminine and a masculine in a way, So
I'm the moon and he's the sun.
Yeah.
You always say
Which
that.
works well at the biological. Yeah. You said 20 past, right?
Yeah.
And where was it?
In Hereford.
My dad used to drink Hereford wine, by the way. It's really funny when he told me he was from there. And I'm like, that's like my dad's wine.
Quite some strong synastry. Okay, so this is how your synastry chart kind of looks. Right? You're not really supposed to understand anything from that.
Looks cool.
Yeah.
Looks cool.
So basically, what I look for is I look at like the lines in between mean stuff and the ones that are next to each other mean stuff. Right? So when I look at your charts, who's the blue? The blue is Argentina. All right. So your moon is linked with your past life, basically. So you're in a very karmic lifetime right now. And what's really interesting about that is that it's linked with your chart, which is, it has Jupiter, Venus, and Mars linked with her moon. That's a lot of connection, all right? Like, it's this point right here. So normally some people will have like 1 to 1. You've got 2 to 3. Wow. So there's going to be a lot of similarity there at the end of the day. Your moon is in Libra, so initiating conversation, in starting space where people can talk. And your moon is in Leo. So those are two, that's an air sign and a fire sign. Air sign and fire signs get along because it's like, let's create something, let's do something. So Leo kind of like wants to be worshipped, wants someone to ask them questions, and Libra wants to ask questions to someone. So in one way, you would be the initiator in this relationship.
He did talk to me first.
Yeah, and he would have started with a question probably eventually.
Yeah.
Moving in or moving out.
There you go, yeah.
That was the question. That was the first thing I said.
So Libra's established connection by asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Right? So right away the intimacy started where it's like, you want questions asked of you because you want to be the queen. You're like, come to me and I shall have the answers.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yes, I concur.
Leo is the sign of intelligence as well. So right there, you're like, oh, this person is intelligent. Let me keep asking them questions.
That's
and you're
right.
like, yes, I am intelligent. I rule the kingdom.
Yes, it's very much exactly what it was. So true.
And because your Venus is there, you're going to value someone who has that sense of knowledge. So you're driven towards knowledge and you're going to value someone who has that confidence of holding the knowledge. Whether they have it or not doesn't matter. It's the confidence that matters.
I definitely have the confidence.
Yeah, it's there.
You have the knowledge. I believe you have the knowledge. I believe that at the moment I met you. I said the first thought that went through my mind when I asked her that question, you're moving on and moving out, she said both. And I thought in my mind, she's so smart because that's a smart answer.
Yeah, right.
And that's exactly the very first moment we met. It was the first thing I thought. She's super smart, this girl, and I knew straight away.
Yeah. So your rising is Pisces and your rising sign is Virgo. So that's opposite right off the bat, which is kind of a good thing because that means you can balance each other out. So the two twins, the sun and moon, the opposite. So there's going to be a natural magnetic pull because you're both offering to these, like you're both going in different directions. You want to be specific and get the fine details of everything. And you're like, oh, it'll work. Oh, it'll work. So it's like he likes to set up the sacred space, and you like to be like, yo, let's have some fun in this sacred space kind of thing. So you're bringing a very open-minded perspective, and you're bringing a very specific perspective. But all the air makes it easy and breezy that you have in your chart, like with the sun in Gemini and the moon in Libra. So there's a very airy disposition where, yeah, it's all going to work out. You know, everything's just a nice brush.
Yeah, man.
So it's a nice balance because you've got this need to provide structure, but an ease about it because of the air in your chart. Does this make sense?
100%, yeah. If I connect with it, for sure.
Cool. And in your case with the ascending in Pisces, so you've got the air, the fire moon, and you've got the rising in a water sign. So it means like, hey, let's just feel together. You know, like we don't have to do too much. Let's just feel. Let's just be real. And let's talk about intelligent things. You know, let's be curious, but you know, let's accept everything that's being said. You know, like like the word for Leo is I can create whatever I want. I can design whatever I want. So there's a sense of like anything is possible with the Leo moon. The Pisces might be scared of that because it's like, no, we need to have something fixed. But at the end of the day, like there's a confidence there that's in you that you can create whatever emotional reality you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So that's where you guys will work together quite well because when you've got both of that Gemini air, which is, hey, let's just play. Let's just play. Let's just have some fun with this. And then you like to provide a structure.
Yep.
And you like to just fill up that structure.
Yeah.
You know? So like you've got the masculine interpretation of the duality and you've got the feminine interpretation where it's like, hey, let's dance. You hold the frame, set up the dance. And you're like, oh, I'll dance and be artful in that dance. You know? So yeah, that's...
it works. Huh?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, this is beautiful alignment at the end of the day. The conflicts that might happen are Jupiter.
Dun, dun.
Yeah,
Dun, dun, dun,
I mean,
dun.
there's not much because the conflicts that we see here are mostly among the bigger planets like Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. And those are like sub-planets. So they're planets that are more happening in the background. When you're looking at relationships and relationship astrology, you want to look at Mars, Venus, the sun, the moon. And your sun, like there's no conflict between your Mars and Venus signs. And your sun and moon, as we just discussed, just match really well together. Because the air signs and the fire signs are the masculine ones. All right, let's go do stuff. And the earth signs and the water signs are the feminine ones. You guys are all masculine. You know, at your sun and moon, you're all masculine. So you've got that like, you're not going to get bogged down by emotions necessarily. Emotions do happen because we're humans, but you're like, let's go through them. You know, these are just challenges that we're going to overcome, you know, instead of the feminine that always wants to hold back and retain that energy. So this is a good fun match because you guys are always going to keep the engine rolling, right? You're always going to go, what's the next step? What's the next step? How do we move through this?
Yeah.
Gemini's the engine and you're two engines.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's been like that since we met, for sure. It's been like that since we met, you know, that productivity and that drive to do things together and
you found your twin.
Yeah.
You found your
we both
Gemini
have so much
twin.
energy and doing it together is so much more fun. Like,
it's so much more fun. We had such a boring year without each other.
Yeah.
Like so boring. And not ourselves. Like I felt like I couldn't be myself without her, you know?
Yeah.
It was really difficult.
You felt like, we both felt like a huge piece was missing from ourselves, you know? Like,
and Gemini really lets the other person be who the other person is. So it's like you both kind of keep your engines going and being yourselves. Yeah. So the growth that can happen in this relationship is beautiful because you want to adapt to the other and you want to adapt to the other and you both want the engine to keep growing, you know? So you're constantly going to adapt to each other as you keep growing.
Yeah.
And then that's going to help you grow at the same time, as long as you're offering the right communication. And I'm never worried about communication with Geminis, like that's a strong suit.
Talk about
Goes back to your question of how we managed, in the 10 months. And the answer is communication.
Yeah.
Like pure and simple, because we were on the phone, every day. And if we weren't, and we'd still be in communication, in contact.
Yeah.
And we still felt each other from, the distance. We felt each other's emotions. She knew how I was feeling.
Yes.
Before even I knew how I was feeling sometimes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It got deeper, I don't know, we like it deep.
That's the name of her podcast.
Like
She's got a podcast.
Yeah, my podcast is called
We Like It Deep.
We like it deep.
It's really it got deeper for me. It felt like, we felt each other way more.
Well, what is separation creates? There's a quote, right? Separation creates fondness.
No,
or something
absence
like
makes the heart grow fonder.
Absence makes the heart grow.
I said that the other day for some reason.
Yeah, it was about a similar thing. We were talking to someone who was
And for you having that Pisces rising, I also have the Pisces rising. That's the sign of spirituality. It's the sign of we're all one. So the older you get, the more sensitive you're going to become to the whole of everything. So if you're honed in with one person, you're always going to be able to feel them. You would need more of a ritual space to kind of feel someone, or a token to kind of remind you of that feeling. Yeah. But in your case, you're always going to be connected with everyone and everything at the same time.
Jeez, yeah.
So you would be more sensitive than you are in some ways when it comes to feeling a group energy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Her instincts, intuition, and that sense of walking into a room and knowing what's going on with everybody in the room. She has that.
You're there to come and give a setup. You come in and you provide an environment for people. That's you're both opposites.
I get really overwhelmed, around a lot of people.
And you can ignore everyone and put something up. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So a good opposites attract there, right? You've got the similarities that are strong, and then you've got the opposites attract at the attention. So Pisces wants to be spiritual and will accept any condition. And Virgo wants to be no, we need the space to be perfect so that we don't worry about the stuff that we don't want to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have that sense of control. I walk into a room and control the space and
and we need that. We need that.
Yeah.
When you go to church or to religion, Virgo's the sign of the priest. They set up the space for holiness, we need to have a cross here. We need to have that there, or setting up that sacred space so that we can be love. At the end of the day, if you don't have that setup and that structure, it's too loose, and then you're just doing drugs all the time. You know what I mean?
Doesn't sound bad either.
It's the balance. It's the balance. There's a material reality that we can't do drugs all the time because the diminishing that can happen on our body if we're doing that all the time, right? Yeah. So Pisces
don't do drugs,
has
kids.
that. Don't do drugs.
Save for the pod.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about
magic.
Use my magic now. So that was beautiful, Barry. Thank you so much. So it was absolutely, mate, and it was so
precious information.
So true.
Yeah.
So true, and I think you probably knew all that after us. After spending some time with us, it probably. Saw a lot of those things. You've just read
I don't even know what I just said anymore. And I'm busy focused on being present with what you're saying and what you're presenting, rather than thinking, oh, who is this? Who is that? Does that make sense?
Interesting. Yeah,
listening.
I like to separate what's going on there. Yeah, because or else I get too much in the head.
Yeah. No, I think it is dangerous to sit there and analyze someone as they're talking rather than listen to what they're saying, right? That's not a great...
It gets me in trouble on one side too, because then I don't pay attention to if someone's manipulating me or doing these things, because I'm just so present in what they're saying,
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. But yes, and then something's come up organically because I've probably subconsciously seen things, and then it might come out through that.
That's right.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, see what happens.
Man. Yeah. So your turn. This is Dreamy Moon set, tarot set by Annie Tarasova. You can sponsor our channel if you want, Annie, please. We love you. We love your cards. They're the best. And we do use them a lot.
So when you say sponsor me, is that basically like send us money because we're talking about your product?
That's exactly right, Annie.
Thank you, Annie.
Send us the cards, Annie.
Send us the cards. Okay, so can you hold the
I guess, I want Astroseek to send me money too. Yes, please. Yeah, might as well. I just plugged them. Yeah. Hopefully someone from Astroseek sees this.
That's right.
Beautiful deck of
Oh,
cards.
wow. I love the gold lining
inlay.
too. Wow.
So-
That's a beautiful deck. Go, Annie.
Go, Annie.
Go, Annie. Well done.
So all you need to do is just shuffle them lightly, one side to another. Don't, they're not poker cards. Like some people, I know you know these things, but some people don't realize that they're not poker
Treat
cards.
me like
and
I'm
we
a
don't.
child, please. It's way more fun.
I will.
Yes. Feed me candy. That's really what that means. It's so subtle.
bad for your
I have beer in the fridge if you want.
Yeah. Not yet. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah.
Hey,
Or-
Christmas Day,
or actually,
right?
yeah, maybe it's
Christmas
a,
Day.
It is Christmas
maybe it's
Eve.
a Christmas Eve.
It is Christmas Eve.
Did I shuffle that enough? Or
Yeah, and
all right.
I need your help here because my microphone stand broke.
Oh.
Do you want to split it? Like, cut it?
Oh, yes, please.
Deck, and then put that on top.
Shiny.
Okay. So I'll do it over here.
Wow, I'm so excited to see your magic.
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah.
didn't put an intention in the cards or anything, did we? But we can choose afterwards, I guess.
Well, he can choose his reading.
Yeah. So we have different readings here.
Oh.
So we can either go for the 3. This one's pretty good. It's about your path. Or there's one I really like, which is myself, my current situation, my true potential.
Oh, my Buddha.
I like that one because it tells a story. It talks to
Oh, let's do that.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah, dude, that's
feel like
awesome. And I'm so curious to like hear what you're gonna say, and then I can fill in the story and be like, ah,
If it resonates.
yeah. Oh, it will. He's magic.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Wow, that's a beautiful spread. He's done this a couple
We
of
also
times
have the black
before.
deck. Oh, yeah, he's done it before. We have the black deck and the white deck.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you
That's a
want to go
beautiful-
for my
Myself, my current path, and is that the one you were talking about?
my true potential, right? So, okay.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for letting me see that and read that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. It's always fun
Amazing.
to see the dynamics at play.
Okay, so if you'd like to, we're back live with you. If you'd like to choose yourself, myself. So
Whoa.
first card, keep it flat, face down.
And then you're going to pick the order?
No, just the first one.
Okay,
That's
thank
myself.
You. Sorry, I get ahead of myself.
And then the next one will be your current path. Keep it flat, face down. And the last one is my true potential.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun,
I
dun,
love how a card is going to tell me my deepest potential. Right?
Okay, turn the first one over.
Oh, my Buddha.
We don't do upside down or anything, so you can just flip it towards yourself.
Oh!
King of crystals.
King of crystals.
Rey de
And I
cristales.
just found the page straight away. Look at that. Okay, so myself, this is interesting. I see this in you. Your keywords: philosophy, strong mind, intellectual power.
Ugh. That's lots of pressure to live up to, man.
Affirmation.
Yeah.
Well, this is you
my
now.
gosh.
You know? This is not your.
This is current.
This is myself.
Oh, my
This is
Buddha.
you now.
Oh, my
Affirmation.
It'll be okay.
Affirmation. I use my intellectual power to take the next step in my journey. Yeah, man, this is what it's about.
Responsibility behind that.
That's it. The King of Crystals radiates wisdom and inner strength. He is a philosophical mediator, one you would come to for advice regarding solving conflicts and discovering common ground. This is you, my friend. This sounds like you. Some think he is a harsh ruler as he acts without emotion and cuts straight to the point.
Oh,
You
my
said that about
Buddha.
yourself
Oh,
earlier.
my Buddha.
He doesn't forgive easily and is not likely to change his mind once a decision has been made.
Oh, my Buddha.
The king calls you to be firm with your choices and not let the opinions of others sway you off your path.
Buddha. Wow, Jesus.
Use your logic and intellect to navigate the way ahead.
Enough of God.
So
Use
much
your intellect,
pressure,
man.
Enough of God. Believe
You're
in
good
yourself.
at
You're the
tuning
God.
into God, right? But like,
Oh, the true intellect is the intellect of God, right? No, okay, all right.
Oh, right, that's what you want it to be.
All right.
It's interesting because there's a part that's the mind and there's a part that's the intuition, but sometimes it's the mind that needs to decide.
Is the intellect a combination of both? Or is the intellect really just the mind?
I feel like it's the rational mind, the
intelligence is the rational. Wisdom is the other one.
Yeah,
All right, so don't use wisdom, use intellect. Kind of works.
Your mind,
Well, because I think you are.
Oh, well, the wisdom and the philosophy is there.
It's a philosophical mind too. Mediator, and
you should naturally have that, but this is like a decision with your rational mind.
Use the intellect to make the decisions. Yes.
Yeah, I think that served you well so far in your life, and it will continue to do so, right?
Definitely. Interesting. I need to get back to that a little bit more. And that's kind of what I'm realizing, to be more intellectual about things, because I've been pretty intuitive the last 7 years, just to practice that muscle, because the intellect you kind of acquire from others, but now it's the point to like build my own intellect, if that makes sense, based on my intuitive experiences I've just had. So
I think it's, don't forget that's there too, and it's the balance between the two, the intellect and the spirituality. I've been not as far in my journey with spirituality as you, but I feel like I kind of try to keep that awareness of it being balanced,
Yes.
Because you get too far into something, you just get carried away and you get lost. And it's just tends to happen.
Too much mind, too much soul,
Too much mind, too much soul, too much body, one way, Bodybuilders look awful,
OnlyVans. No bodybuilders in OnlyVans. They wouldn't get their workout out here. It doesn't work.
I respect what they do, but look, getting a bit obsessed, man. And it's the same.
What
with
about
all
your
those
mind?
things.
What about your
Not only gyms.
What about your spirituality? It's not only gyms, it's only Vans. All right, my current path.
All right. Can I flip this one over? And I'm curious if you want to give an interpretation before you read the interpretation.
Okay, yeah.
Does that sound fun?
Sure, I do. I know the cards quite well, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, three of wands. So this is
my current situation.
Traveler. Okay. Looking out into the wilderness, ready for your next big adventure. You're on the cusp of, you're traveling. Look, it's quite
going
clearly
forward
towards
the
sun. Going forward towards the sun. That would be my interpretation. Your current path is the one you're currently on. You are traveling, you are moving, you are looking towards the future, and looking towards that sun.
What's the 3 have to do with anything? 3 of wands.
3 of wands. Well, I'll read it for you. So
wands is adventure kind of thing? Is that kind of what it means? Or
wands? Yeah. I don't know, actually.
We could look at the different...
Yeah.
But keywords: empowerment, expansion, journey. Affirmation: I can achieve anything I set my mind to. We see the same woman from the 2 of wands in this card. This time she is looking towards the landscape. The sun is now high up in the sky and she has put on her boots, ready to start her adventure and leave her comfort zone.
Yeah.
Everything is progressing as expected, thanks to your previous planning and preparation. This is a sign that it's time to embark on your journey.
I'm so comfortable right now.
Discover new opportunities.
The boots are on.
Discover new opportunities and learn from new experiences. Stay committed to your vision and be confident that you can achieve it. So I think it's about the next adventure, man. It's about maybe moving towards a more uncomfortable...
Your new discomfort zone.
Discomfort, yeah.
Yep.
Which whatever that might be for you,
It's happening. Yep. I'll tell you after the whole combination of things.
Sure. Yeah. But it, and this again, look at how the flow of it, right? Use your intellectual power, your intellectual mind. Yeah. You're about to step off into this new journey. Yeah. So maybe use the intellect in the new journey you're taking, rather than the way you've done it for the last 7 years, following the instinct, following the spirituality, and that just, the vibe, man.
So how would someone use the intellect in a situation of adventure and journey?
Well, you plan with your rational mind, right? You think, and then with your mind, what would be best? well, towards your goal, towards your next.
Set a goal.
Yeah, set a goal
Set
for
a goal
yourself.
is important.
Instead of waiting for God to give you that goal, like it happened to you with, like you say, the last 7 years, with the astrology and stuff.
And the difference between the 2 and the 3 is the 2 is like, not the boots aren't on yet, but the 3rd is like the boots are on. So it's like, you're in the middle of that right now.
Yeah, this is your current path. I mean, the one you're about to embark on, right? She's ready to embark on the journey. The expansion is going to happen. It's on the edge of it. It's there.
Yeah. Yep.
And like,
cool.
How it is to stay stagnant and stay in the same place, and not much changes.
Yeah, correct.
And that's what it is. So last one is your true potential, my friend. This is a hard one.
I feel like you go to the bathroom first. Yeah, I need to make some space for this. Oh, I knew it. I knew it was going to be a card.
Burn it all down, man. Burn it down.
Like London Bridge.
Buddha. Can't make this stuff up. I knew it was going to be a big card. The Arcana, right? I knew it was going to be an Arcana. I just knew it.
The Tower, man.
Structure collapses.
Structure collapses. Sudden change. Chaos.
It's okay.
Liberation, my friend. Liberation.
We'll make you a cup of tea. Because I have pie somewhere.
Affirmation.
I hate you guys. No, not at all. Not at all.
I maintain a calm mind and an open heart in the face of change and chaos. He just doesn't even want the chaos to start or the change to happen. It's like, This card symbolizes a revolution, a longed for liberation caused by dramatic catastrophe. As old structures collapse, you may find yourself in a chaotic period of life. You ask yourself and the universe why it had to happen this way. In time, you will...
I don't even ask anymore. Man.
In time, you will look back on this chaos with a smile and understand that it was necessary for your growth.
Tabarnak.
Have faith that this is all part of the grand plan.
Oh, I know. My intellect knows that. Yes.
Yeah.
This card could also be a warning to expect the unexpected. Groundbreaking change is coming to shake things up. Relationships that have weak foundations will not last much longer. I think we broke him. He's about to cry.
Let's take a break. We made the first case cry.
Off record.
I knew we'd do it.
People cry. I make people cry.
My guy.
It's tough, man.
There's something there. Yeah.
Tough truth, The truth's hard. The truth is tough.
These are not easy cards. Maybe the 3 of Wands is like, okay, cool. But the other 2 it's like, come on. Like, yes. All right. You want the story now?
Go for it.
Yeah.
All right. So what's when does this air, by the way? Or when are you going to put this on? In like a week or two?
A week or 2. Next week,
Because, I plan on quitting my job. Yeah, like the notice is already in kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it's like, I know I have to leave. It doesn't feel like the right intellectual move, but it does at the same time. Yeah, like based on the facts that I'm seeing on what's going on here, it's feeling like the right move. And and what's been coming up, especially at like the most recent new moon, is I need to make a plan now. Like now is time to actually make a plan for what I want. So I did my what I want list. And the one thing came up is, like I said, connection with God, connection with higher ups. Then how do you plan that? So...
You call God.
You use your intellect.
Exactly. Yeah.
So to try to make the connections of, okay, how can I do that?
And it's create the environment so that you can reach it, I guess, is the end of the day.
Start your own cult,
Become
Set up
God.
your temple, become God yourself. Nietzsche style, just go
in Satanism, it's a bit easier then.
Yeah. I've got strong Capricorn, which is the sign of Satan.
Yeah. So, seriously, could be, setting up your own space, your own temple, your own, community.
So, and the 3 of Wands is the boots already on. So I gave my notice a week ago.
There you go.
So I know I'm heading out. I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing, but I know the boots are on. I am looking at India right now, but I'm looking at India without a plan, specifically. Yeah, I'm looking at showing up in India.
That's where the tower comes in, my friend, because India is
you see how many cows you encounter.
Place.
And last time I went to India, it wrecked me. Like I came back with a 3-month depression because like you go to India to get regurgitated. You know, you don't go to India to not change. You know, you go to India to destroy some sort of foundational knowledge. Like it is the divine stomach of the earth. It's where you go to get digested.
It's a tough place.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like people go, people go there and it changes them, like you said, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've experienced it once, so maybe
I'm ready,
but
now I'm more intellectually ready for it. Now I see more what needs to get destroyed. And like back then I had a plan of when to go, when to come back. This time it's a one-way ticket. You know, there's nothing, there's no after this time. You know, this time it's let's see what happens when I get over there.
Yeah, that's the tower. You burn it down, you know, because you're like,
I'm going all
the way. And,
yeah.
But would you say plan it better in a sense of go, okay, I'm going to this place and I'm going to dedicate myself to this, you know, go to this temple and be with these people and do
these practices or whatever.
That is what I'm looking at right now. So I am looking at more structured, like Kundalini, going to Varanasi, which is where all the like occult stuff is, where they burn the bodies and things like that, where all the sadhus with like the ash on their faces. So yeah, I think having that general plan of the knowledge of what's where in India, and then having a couple landing spots to kind of taste things. The other idea that also comes to mind is like, I've been following kind of the story of Jesus in the Bible a little bit. Like I did a dark room for 3 days with no food. You know, like Jesus died for 3 days with no food in a cave, right? Came back out. Jesus also did 40 days in the desert. So I'm thinking of going to the desert in India for 40 days and fasting during that time as well.
Wow.
Like I just did 7 days without food and I was fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I feel I've intellectually like ready for these tests.
Yeah.
Let's say.
It's the next challenge.
So yeah, and the idea is like these stories of Jesus or these stories in the books, they're meant to be like 40 days without eating isn't unheard of. You know, it's hard, yes.
Yeah.
3 days in a dark room isn't unheard of. You know, it's a little extremist and a little wild, sure.
But it can be done.
And I think that's why Christianity and Catholicism, because they gave more tangible examples of what can be done, as opposed to like the Hindu Buddhists of like, cut your head off.
Yeah.
You know, that's way more metaphor. Yeah. Don't try that.
Don't try that.
Don't
Piece of advice.
Yeah. Let me just check the camera 1 second. Hold the thought.
Yeah.
You fucking do that. You see these goals and this shit, and you're like, well, how do I relate to
fire.
that?
Yeah,
you know, like,
exactly.
How do I grow 80 arms and
Yeah.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll wrap up.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, so the idea now is to use the intellect behind the intuition. So it's like, why do these stories exist? So, and the reason I've been fasting now and doing all these things is right now, I'm erasing every structure of everything that I've ever known. Like I've got one friend that I've known for more than a year. You know, and it's not from lack of interest, but it's the act of letting go, right? That's surrender piece. So right now, I'm ready to let everything go, all my relationships. There's nothing.
Oh, he's going to let us go.
You let us go.
Maybe. I mean, this is the tower is telling me to do. I don't want that. But at the end of the day, that's the direction that the cards are telling me to go. And I was definitely thinking before this, we're like, oh, you guys need a power supply to follow you? Like, when I'm done work, I'll follow you guys around and be your battery, you know, following around to do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, do that for a couple weeks. So I would love
just
that.
do it.
No,
We'd love to have you along for the
Yeah.
journey. It'd be so sick.
Let's see what happens. But the idea is, intellectually.
If you would give that to us, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. The idea is no attachments. I'll be free for a bit. And I usually make my decisions on where I go based on flight prices.
Sure.
Like it cost me $400 to come to New Zealand from Canada.
Wow. That's so cheap.
And that's the universe, I say, telling me this is the path you're on. So I get cheap flights everywhere. I had one of my friends, he paid for my flight from Europe back to Canada. You know, my astrology training, I was mostly free. You know, so like I let the universe kind of choose what happens by these kinds of signals. So and us meeting at this point and us having this, like maybe that's a sign. Maybe I'm following you guys around to do this kind of stuff, or to give you the power.
You have a powerful message, man, to put out in the universe too. And like, this is why when I was talking to you about your own content, do it, because I want to watch it.
Oh,
like we'd want to watch it. We would, and I know that so many people would want to watch it and would also benefit from it. Like remember that everything you're doing, all these things that you're learning, you're teaching yourself. You can't keep it to yourself.
Fair.
You can't, because then what purpose does that serve?
Correct.
Like it serves your own knowledge and your own purpose. But I have a little cycle of things that I picked up on years ago that we spoke about, kind of like the steps to, I guess, achieving your purpose, And the first is to listen. To learn. To do the thing you've just learned. To teach what you've learned. And through teaching, you relearn.
What the best way of learning.
What you've been teaching, and then after that, you become. Because it's that cycle, right? So the last step for you, now is to teach. To then relearn.
Right.
Right. Because you are at that stage where you know so much and you're so knowledgeable and it's all there, and you go to India and challenge yourself even more and learn even more, right? But then it should come full circle where you teach.
You reteach it out.
Teach, then relearn.
Share your treasures.
Teach, relearn, then embody all of it.
And you are it.
And I'm pretty close to that, embodying it all. Right. There's still a couple things coming up with that fear and I saw that here working here. So and I think this is, you always think, this is one of the last steps, and maybe it is. Maybe this is the full circle. And that's maybe what the tower is an indicative of that, right? You've come full circle now.
I mean, we'll have to finish there because it's coming up. But thank you so much for your time, brother. It was a beautiful episode.
First
one. Thank you for the honor.
OnlyFans. Do you do the jingle? OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. We're gonna come up with something.
Definitely the jingle.
We need like a minivan to drive around.
Thank you so much for being the very first guest on OnlyVans.
Yeah, it was a blast.
We love you, man.